that India is a secular democratic country. So secular means not anti-religion, but secular means maintaining equidistance with all the religions. Not favoring anybody, not patronizing anybody, not denigrating anybody. Religion is important, but it is almost like a non-governmental subject, individual subject. And he's always given this wonderful example why this religious pluralism is important and why we should not fight over religious differences. He gave many examples. I'll give you a few examples here. One is, he gives the examples of a department shop. Or today we say mall. In a mall or in a departmental shop, if that shop, that departmental store, sells only shoes, not many people will go there. The needs of many people cannot be fulfilled just by selling shoes. So a departmental shop or a mall, when it has many varieties of commodities, the needs of many people can be fulfilled. Similarly, these different religious traditions can fulfill the needs of different people. And similarly, he gives the example of a garden. If the garden has only red flowers or yellow flowers, not many people will go to visit the garden. But if that garden is full of different flowers with different colors, different fragrances and so forth, many people will be attracted. And another example, which is even more convincing that this always give us, like for example, when the family members sit over the lunch table or dinner table, the father says, I want rice. The mother says, I want bread. The kids say, I want chocolate, soup or something. Then if the father says, because I want rice, all of you should eat rice, otherwise I will use violence and things like that. It's ludicrous. Doesn't make any sense. So let people, so long as it's good for their health, let them eat whatever they like to eat. Similarly, let people choose religious traditions that they belong to and respect each other. And in order to develop genuine religious harmony, it's important that the religious leaders talk to each other. There should be religious conferences. Different religious sites should be visited. And he saw himself practice all this. And I had the privilege of going with him, visiting many holy sites. In Bodh Gaya, a group of Christians came all the way to do prayer and meditation together under the Bodhi tree. It was historic, never happened before. In all these three places of Judaism, Christianity and Islam, very important places. Technology so far did not come with a method to deal with human emotions, to transform human mind. So therefore, religion is also a very important role. So therefore, as I was talking about these three parts that he so explained, Buddhism, Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist religion. So when we talk about Buddhist science, therefore I think other religious studies can also say they are particular religious science. When we talk about science, we are talking about, normally the science deals with external atoms, external physical matters, right? In the case of the modern science, it primarily deals with, like for example, physics. It talks about atoms and other material objects. And then in the religion, like Buddhism, we talk about internal science, dealing with human emotions. That has actually nothing to do with the religion. You might find some very important techniques in all the religious traditions. So we must use all these religious traditions, techniques that are in all these religious traditions. In fact, share these special techniques in all the religious traditions to regulate and transform human emotions. Because human beings are suffering so much because of unregulated, unchecked, wild human emotions. So therefore he is always saying, share that level of science to everybody. Then we talk about Buddhist philosophy. Philosophy means based on that reality of science, we develop certain concept that it is now possible for me to change. That is philosophical part. And once you are convinced of the possibility of change, when you actually start practicing it, then you are entering into the domain of religious practice. There you might talk about nirvana, enlightenment, and things like that. So therefore he also says that part is within this part, kind of exclusively related to the Buddhist practitioners and followers. The other part, Buddhist science, Buddhist philosophy, should be shared with everybody. This point, when I think about this point, I really feel this is a wonderful kind of categorization that is always made. Because in all, now today when we talk about promoting human values, it's always come up with a great idea of promoting secular ethics. We call it social, emotional, ethical learning. Now we are doing this program at Emory University in Atlanta, and it's already in many institutions, universities and schools have taken their part, and they are teaching it in the schools. Because today, one thing that is really missing in the modern subjects and studies in the classroom is morality and ethics. This morning I was reading a quotation from Martin Luther King, where he said, we are suffering today because technology and science has outrun spirituality. Outrun spirituality. And then earlier I read another scholar who said, we are suffering today because the speed of science and technology could not be caught by the human wisdom. Right? So without ethics, without morality in human life, it's really like a vehicle without proper driver, and it can go in all directions and have accident. And therefore, I have been repeatedly telling people that education is not equal to literacy. Education is not reading, writing, and mathematics. Education is human flourishment. Human flourishment or personality development. Human flourishment means somebody who has compassion, who has the capacity to take care of others, who is able to live in harmoniously, who is able to come forward and take responsibility to protect the society, to improve its well-being and so forth. Now I and you, all of us can see very clearly today the product of what we teach in the school. The students come out from schools, universities with a little bit of literacy, but really doesn't have that big sense of universal responsibility, a compassionate heart. And if you have that compassionate heart, that wish to help others, then you take example of His Holiness Dalai Lama, you take example of Gandhi, you take example of Mother Teresa. Even one person was able to bring so much happiness and peace in the world. If you let your mind ruled by negative emotions, like Mao Zedong, Hitler, Idi Amin, so many in this, again one person brought so much misery, so much problem. It is said that 75 million people lost their lives during the rule of Mao Zedong. I don't remember all the number, I have a list of all. So many people lost their lives. We don't have the right to take life of other people if we are unable to prolong their life. We don't have the right to destroy their happiness. We don't have the right to create more suffering. And therefore, many of the Buddhist teachings, they say, you don't have to kill others, they will die. Similarly, you can see, you don't have to create more suffering for other people, they are already suffering. So your job, your responsibility, especially if you call yourself as a human being, the English word human, I was told, has a connotation of somebody having values. That's very important. We are talking about human values, ethics. The very word human, I was told, has a connotation of human having values. So where is the value today? Everything has value. All the gadgets have so much value. Everything that you see being sold in the market has so much value. But what about human value? The enjoyer of all these facilities that is produced in the world, that human being itself doesn't have the value, then you can imagine clearly how can we have peace and happiness? As I already mentioned, that because of this very special human intelligence, we have the capacity to bring peace and happiness in the world, and we also have the capacity to destroy the world. And this is not something that can be spoken lightly. It's a very serious matter where we all have to take the responsibility. If you look at the damage that is being done on this planet today, whether it's pollution of water, pollution of air, division, exploitation, corruption, bribery, all is suffering. People are now even having difficulty getting proper water resources. We are buying water. This should not be taken lightly. And all this destruction that is being done on this planet is done by so-called intelligent humans. Therefore, it is extremely important to use this wonderful intelligence in the right direction for construction, for peace, for happiness, not for destruction, not for self-aggrandizement, not for fulfilling the selfish goals. So in this case, of course, the different religious traditions have a big responsibility. I think in today's world, religion must make sense. Religion must make sense in our day-to-day life. Religion should not be seen as just something where you just pray and close your eye, not just that. Therefore, even the present Pope, and somewhere he said that faith and reason must go together. And in Buddhism, of course, we talk about the need to have the faith and reason together. So mere faith, especially blind faith, is very dangerous. Many of the fundamentalist and fanatical activities that happen in this world is because of blind faith. So faith is very important, especially if it is supported by reason. Reason means that you should be able to see that this is the benefit of this religious practice. And what should be the benefit? The benefit should not be limited that you close your eye and you go live with peace. No. It should be more than that. Your religious tradition should be able to bring harmony among people. Peace among all people, people of all religions, all cultures. This is especially important in today's world because as I said earlier, through the speed of science and technology and material development, we are thrown into the face of each other, especially in big cities. Now even here, you can see whether you like it or not, people of all different faiths, all cultures are compelled to live together. Some people might see it as a threat to the security of that particular, culture, that particular religion. But if you are able to see it in the right perspective, then this is a great opportunity. Opportunity to learn from each other. Every religion has amazing, important messages. So once you understand that messages and use it in the proper context, then it will benefit everybody. There's no reason to fight each other. Yes, as I said, there are philosophical differences, but you should not be scared by those differences. Differences are there. Differences are actually for more progress, more development. If there is no differences, if there is no contradiction, there is no possibility for growth. Even in the mind of one individual, you always have those conflicting ideas, different ideas. And then you compare those conflicting ideas and differences. And then through that way you choose the better one. And you become better, you develop. So we should not be scared of these differences. Right? And then more important, as I said, The most important part is the message of the philosophy. If I slowly sum up my talk, when we talk about religious harmony, we have to have a clear understanding of the theistic religion, the non-theistic religion, and those who belong into what they call as the secular world. Three things we have to accept. These three, the theistic, the non-theistic, and also the non-religious secular religion. And it is possible. That's why I was very interested, as His Holiness suggested, that we need to now take out from all the religious traditions the universal teachings, the universally applicable teachings, like loving kindness, compassion, non-hatred, harmony. We can cite quotations from all the religious traditions to promote those universal values. And these universal values are very much needed even for those people who are anti-religion and who are non-religious. All the religious tradition is basically three. First is called ethics of restraint. That means every religious tradition teaches to restrain oneself from harming others, being angry, developing hatred, and so forth. That is the first level of ethics. The second level of ethics is developing positive emotions like compassion, which is very much encouraged in all the religious traditions. Third level of ethics is kind of pure altruism, where you engage in selfless service, serving others. So now when you look at these core messages, there's no contradiction. All the religious traditions talk about removing hatred, anger, jealousy, leading a life of simplicity, helping others, developing compassion. So the message is there. But unfortunately, many times the message doesn't become evident because the so-called followers don't bother to study these messages. They are satisfied and happy to say, I belong to this religion, I belong to the religion, and if necessary, fight, without knowing anything about one's own religion. In Christianity, it's very clearly said, we are all creations of the same God. So how can you make a differentiation between the same creation created by the God? Similarly, in Islam also, once I was traveling with a ordinary Muslim. He was driving my car. So then I asked him, what do you think about the Dalai Lama? Have you heard the Dalai Lama? Yes, he said, yes, I heard. What do you think about the Dalai Lama? He said, wo bhi Allah ka banda hai. I mean, so beautiful. Wo bhi Allah ka banda hai. Anybody who is practicing love, who is practicing compassion, if you are a genuine practitioner, so many good Christians are there, so many good Muslims are there, so many good Buddhists are there. Highlight those. Bring harmony, bring unity. Don't highlight those few mischievous people. We have this tendency when one or two Muslims or Christians or Buddhists do bad, then oh, Buddhists are so bad, Buddhists are terrorists, or Christians are terrorists, Islamists are terrorists. No, it's absolutely wrong. So therefore it is important, as Martin Luther King once said, that I don't feel sad. Martin Luther King said, I don't feel sad when bad people do bad things. But I feel sad when good people don't do anything. Thank you very much.
So if you have got any questions, please raise your hands. You can ask questions in any language. So if you have got questions, please raise your hands. Okay, there's one. Could you please pass on the thing?
Islam, I want to ask a question regarding the human behavior, which I believe is one of the root causes of disharmony in our human lives and also in religion. That is people's ability to judge prejudicially. In my experience, I have noticed that our ability to form an opinion about someone or to look down on someone, the way the person speaks, the clothes he or she wears, the way he or she looks, I believe is one of the problems of disharmony and also the cause of bullying and racism, right? For example, in USA, the Caucasian people, the white people, they judge other Muslim as terrorists, right? So I know it's because of their ignorance, which they believe all Muslims are terrorists. And also in my experience, I've noticed that the major cause of bullying at school is mainly due to our prejudicial behavior of judging someone as weak or stupid. So my question is, how can one who has the habit of judging prejudicially stop judging, prejudicially? And what is the most effective way to stop that behavior?
The need to have a non-judgmental approach, I use that word. So therefore, to cure all kind of human problems, illness, there is no magic wand which you can move and then boom, there is everybody is living harmony. There's no possibility. Because human beings, their minds are conditioned by the environment, by the society, what is being taught. So therefore, the only way to change these things is education, proper education. Again, to quote Martin Luther King, he said, don't judge people by the colors, but judge people in terms of their heart, in terms of their content. And the reason you judge people and say this is a bit bad, this is not good, and things like that, because it clearly shows that you don't have this feeling of love and affection for other people. Clear indication. So therefore, one way to reach that state of non-judgmental, being non-judgmental, is develop more love and affection to others. And how can you develop love and affection to others? With understanding that all these people, they have this problem, that problem, they are one day going to die. Just take yourself as an example and think that others also similar like me. Then you at least develop some kind of concern, some kind of sympathy. When you develop that sympathy, that love, little bit, of course, not easy, then you will not less judge others. Just like, for example, take the example of, let us say, your child. Your child may be not handsome, not beautiful. Your child may be actually very ugly in some cases, uneven head or whatever, big head or big nose, whatever. But still, the mother never says, my child is ugly. She showers upon her child. This is my child is ugly. Walking, my child is ugly. Speaking, she talks about all the goodness, my child is ugly. Because she has not. Love minimizes. Beauty lies in the eye of the beholder of the business. So again, as I said, there is no quick solution. Give more education to develop a larger perspective. I mean, if you think, we are here for a short time, then we will all be gone, we will all be dead. Honestly speaking. So why we are alive? Enjoy life. Be happy. Help each other. Even if there's a cup of tea, share a cup of tea, say something nice, don't hurt each other. Your life will be wonderful. It will be like miracle. But unfortunately, because of lack of larger perspective, we forget this. Only things about oneself, completely ignore others. Then in the end, not only you are not able to help others, you also suffer. And we had that experience. Right? Okay. Thank you.
Next question. Anybody? Among the students, what about among the students? Maybe Geshey Please, awesome.
It's done.
Good morning. I'd like to ask the professor, what does one do when a pluralistic secular country changes its rule of law so that other faiths, beliefs, even secularism is under attack? How do we live in peace and harmony?
Important question. But when the power is in the hand of a notorious leader, not only he will destroy secularism or pluralism, but he or she will do many other destructive things, as we are having already in many parts of the world. So unfortunately, I cannot recommend any one solution saying that do this and change everything. That's not possible. So again, here it is question of education. The more people are educated, the more they will be careful when they are electing their leader. Right now, many of these almost like fanatical, short-sighted leaders elected based on short-lived emotions, The leader gives a moving emotion, if I become, then I do this for all these people, And when he says all these people, not all people, but some sections of people, because he wants the vote of these people. Then these people, without thinking for the long-term consequences for the whole community of that country, they vote for it, and he gets elected. Once he gets elected, he has the power and does all the necessary things. So therefore, again, now from where does this leader come from? The leaders come from ordinary people. So right in the beginning, if we have given proper education, so that people have long-term vision for harmony and peace in that particular society, in that country, then hopefully you can gradually have leaders who can talk about secularism, who can talk about pluralism, who can talk about harmony and so forth. So there's again, unfortunately, no quick solution. That's the only way, education.
Okay, here's one.
I want to inquire about the harmony with the environment. Since Buddhist people are very fond of hanging up the prayer flags all over the places, where higher the better, what they think. And that's why most of the praying centers or the hills, you find all the trees rather ganja. So in order to save that, because when the prayer flags are hung over, it is either the nylon rope or the plastic ropes. That's just strangling it and giving it a slow death. We are not deforesting, but we are giving it a slow death. And what will be the solution for that, and how it can be solved? That's my...
So all my answers and proper understanding. Like for example, as I was saying, if for example, if you are Buddhist, the core practice of Buddha's teaching is non-violence. Right? But sometimes when we do the practice, we forget the core teaching, the main teaching. We go for superficial cultural clippings and traditions. That actually, instead of becoming a true Buddhist practice, it harms the environment, it harms other people.